Hey there, and welcome to another episode of your favorite libertarian. In today's video, we're going to attempt to remove the shininess from the Cloud Defensive MCH. Stick around to the end for some discounts and some deals. There it is, the MCH High Candela single output in all of its shininess. The first thing we're going to do is remove the battery. We're going to start by taking off the head first, so we can relieve pressure from the O-ring that is on the tail cap, because the tail cap O-ring is very sensitive and prone to breaking. So we'll go ahead and take off the tail cap, then very gently take off the clip. Then reassemble the light without the battery in it. Now we're going to take some steel wool and follow the instructions kindly provided on the bag by my buddy Ken. Shout out to Ken. We're going to cut a small piece off with scissors. Then we're going to start rubbing the metal surface that's anodized just to see how it affects the material. If it is giving you the result that you want and it's actually taking off that shine altogether, great. If not, you might still want to change the color and spray over this material. For me, I'm going to go ahead and rub this down everywhere. Then I'm going to wipe any excess material of the steel wool off, and then we're going to get to painting. But before we can paint, we need to pick some up. I know everyone was worried about my face and how beardless it was, so I just wanted to give everyone an update that my beard is growing back slowly but surely. So don't worry, my beard will be back soon. We're going to the store, we're going to the store. We're here. Now I'm taking painter's tape and putting it over anything that I don't want paint on. For me, that's going to be the clicky tail cap, and I'm going to put the ND protector, the largest one, screw that in around it so that it's completely covering any other part of the clicky tail cap that I didn't get really well with the tape. And on the other end, I'm going to be taping the bezel, but I'm just going to be doing that to cut around and make a pretty good circle. Then I'm going to roll that tape over a little bit so that I can get it in the lens itself, not touching the inner bezel at all. And then I'll be able to have a little bit of something to grab onto to peel off at the end when I'm done painting. All right, we're almost ready to paint. One more thing, we're going to create a little stand, and this stand I made just with a piece of cardboard, rolled it up smaller diameter than the diameter of the lens, and I took some more of that painter's tape. In this case, it's frog tape, and yeah, that's pretty much it. As long as this balances while I spray it, it should be okay. Take my Krylon Fusion all-in-one paint and primer. This is matte Spanish moss. It's already looked pretty sick. It's pretty sticky, so feel all right doing this. It says we only have to wait 1 minute in between coats, so I'll come back in maybe like 10 minutes. Do another coat. All right, at this point it's been about 10 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and give it another coat. If you're still watching this video, I want to wish you a very happy standing up to a tyrannical government and telling them to get lost day, also known as Independence Day. So happy Independence Day to you specifically watching this video right now. This is coming out right before Independence Day. I hope you're not watching this on Independence Day. I hope you're lighting off fireworks, shooting guns, doing all sorts of awesome, rowdy American stuff to celebrate your freedom and independence from the would-be psychopathic king that was trying to rule over its colonial subjects all those years ago, but not so long ago. Keep that rebellious spirit, keep that freedom mind that you have inside that gives you the ability to think independently from groupthink, think for yourselves, and do your own research and make your own decisions. You are a free-thinking American. Act like it. Also, babies recently got a better shot at life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in this country as well. So we have even more reason to celebrate this week. As I'm sure you've heard if you've been watching the news, Roe v. Wade was recently overturned, which I'm super stoked about as a father, as a Christian, and as a former baby myself. If you have any more questions on kind of how I feel about it or want a more in-depth video on my opinions on the subject, I don't usually get super political in this channel, but if you do want to know that and you would like a dedicated video, let me know. Otherwise, though, I just want to say I'm super stoked about the decision. I think it's a step in the right direction at least. Oh, that is in the air. It stings the nostrils. I wanted to show this while it's drying. Still a little shiny. It's gonna dry flat, but you can see the indentation from the laser etching still. So even though this has a coat of spray paint on it, actually 2 coats at this point, you can still see the laser etching markings for this, and also you can see it on the head, but it's kind of hard to get that angle because it's on the opposite end. So we'll let this dry and then it'll look even cooler once it's done. All right, so it's been a few minutes. I'm gonna do one more coat, which will be our 3rd coat. The only reason I'm doing this is because I noticed that where there's this little gap here, where the theorem pocket clip goes, or where you would have a metal pocket clip that's still out of stock as of the filming of this video, that was supposed to ship with this light. There's that little bit of a gap, and you can still see some spots where I missed the spray paint. It just didn't get right in that spot. So I'm going to do my best to stay as far away as I can so it doesn't get caked on, but I want to make sure that there's no shininess in this area. And I don't care about the O-rings. The O-rings I can replace. So if they're all green, cool. If they're partially green, I don't really care. I can buy a new set of O-rings and fix that. So we're going to go ahead and spray that, and then we should be done with all the coats, and we'll just let it dry a full however many hours, and then we'll put our hardware back on. All right, it's the next day. Time travel, it's an amazing thing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the tape off. It hasn't been a full 24 hours, so it's feeling a little bit better to the touch. It's not as tacky, but through the course of time, it will get less tacky and less shiny. What I'm going to do, though, is take this tape off, because the tape, if you don't take it off relatively soon, it is really sticky and just wants to stay on there and might want to take other things off. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, so this actually looks pretty good. And we're going to go ahead and take this tape off. So there is the button. You can see obviously there's still the anodized green on the inside. Not a big deal, don't really care about that. But if you want to cover it up, you can always just put your ND protector back on, and then it will look nice and uniform again. If I was super smart, I would have given myself a little bit more of a lip to pull on. It'd be easier to get this off, but I didn't, so here we are. So as you can see, not a perfect circle all the way around. If you care about that, I would suggest getting an X-Acto knife or something, taping a perfect circle, but then you run into the issue of being able to actually peel it off after you're done. So up to you. Again, I don't care that much, but if you care more, then maybe find a better solution for taping this. All right, so at this point it has been close to 24 hours. It's 7 p.m. right now. At 11 p.m. it will be 24 hours, so it's a little bit flatter. It's not as tacky to the touch. So now what we're going to do is put the hardware back on. First thing we're going to do is take off tail cap, and then we're going to place this guy through here. We'll go ahead and screw this back on. Careful when you're going around that O-ring. I want to do this when the battery's not in it, so that you don't have any pressure being applied anywhere near that O-ring, because that O-ring is really sensitive. All right, so this is on, and now what you need to do is take off the head, and we put it positive end up, the head back on, so everything's tightened down. We'll go ahead. Oh yeah, definitely still works. All right, so here it is all assembled. If I had to pinpoint what color this was, I'd say it's probably like a Stanley thermos color, if you guys are familiar with Stanley thermoses, thermosi, or maybe the Army Men from Toy Story, if you're familiar with that movie. Too soon? You can see I have a little bit of extra paint somewhere on here. There it is, right there. Got a little overzealous when I was spraying. But otherwise, I think I did a pretty good job. Let me know what you think about the job that I did in the comment section below. Also, I took the ND protector out, so you can still see the original color in there. If you care about that and you want the black ring and you're not running the full-size ND protector, you can do the medium or the small, and you'll fill that gap up again, and it'll look super cool. But for me, I don't run an ND protector for the way that I use it, so I just left it out, and I don't care. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? It's free. Just subscribe, because if you do, you'll be able to see the next video on this guy, which will probably be me taking it to the campsite, as I've got a camping trip coming up, and I'll be shining this at various distances. This is the high candela single output model, so all the lumens, all the candela throughout the campsite. I'm sure all the people that are camping there are going to be thrilled at how bright this light is. I'll also do some testing on how this paint holds up to the high temperature environments that this light creates. It is super bright. It's the high candela model single output, so it is all candela, all lumens, all the time, and that tends to heat things up. We'll see if this paint just starts bubbling up and is a complete waste of time of even being put on here in the first place. So stay tuned for that before you do this project, because it might be a huge waste of time. All right, guys, I've got kind of a two-parter question for you. One, do you remember the show MTV Cribs, back when there was music on MTV? Two, would you like to see an MTV Cribs edition tour of my pop-up camper while we're camping? I'm going to be doing a lot of different footage while I'm out in the wilderness, and by wilderness I mean more like one of those campsites you can plug things into and you have electricity, and public bathrooms. Really roughing it. But anyway, if you want to see something like that, let me know, and I just might do a video MTV Cribs style of my pop-up camper. Should be exciting if you're into that sort of thing. Man, it's getting dark out. Oh, hey, are you guys still here? Well, if you are and you want to save some money and you want to get some awesome stuff, you might want to check out my affiliate links. In the description below, there is a Linktree link that will link you to brands like Rep Fitness, 3 Nails Clothing, Magpul. If you're going to buy Magpul stuff, and I know you are, if you could use my link, that would be great, because then they know that I'm doing my part to send business their way, and they might be more likely to send me cool stuff to review. Also, if you're a Christian and you work out, you might like 3 Nails Clothing, because that's what they do. They do workout apparel for Christians, and they're a Christian-run company. So if you want to support them, they're having a huge sale right now, and my discount code, which is in that link tree, also will work on top of the sale that they're having. So check that out. Lastly, and this is just currently, I'm adding new affiliates every day, but the last one I want you guys to check out for sure is Rep Fitness, because they're having a huge 4th of July sale, and if you use my link, then it lets them know that I sent you. They might also be more likely to send me stuff for the basement gym build series that we're working on right now as well. Thanks in advance for any support that you can. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the likes, the comments, you guys subscribing, clicking on those links. Every little bit helps in this small channel that I hope to grow to be very big and wide-reaching so that we could send that message of freedom across the interwaves. Interwaves, is that a thing? Well, that's gonna do it for me in this video. As always, thanks for watching. Stay free. God bless.